Thanks for dropping by. My name's Chris. This site's called Dangerous Limits. Here we talk about what's really an untold story about climate change. And that story is how much climate change is too much. Now, you're obviously someone who knows a lot about this subject, been following it for a long time, an intelligent, engaged citizen. You may know, many people don't, majority don't, know that there is a dangerous limit to climate change. It's been decided that it's 2 degrees of warming above the amount of warming that really characterised life on Earth for humans prior to the start of industrialisation. What you may not know, and you would be forgiven for not knowing this, is that there's very little, indeed no science which can define what a dangerous limit to climate change is. It's actually a political choice, a value choice. It's a story about what future we want. It cannot be decided by science. Science can tell us with a fair degree of uncertainty what might happen when. But in terms of deciding how much danger, what sort of impacts, what sort of risks we want to face as societies, then that's not a question for science. That's a question for you and me. And that's what this website's all about. It's a place where I explore the work I've been doing over the past 10 years. Papers, talks, research, book. Exploring this very important question under the title really of Not in Front of the Children, which really characterises how this whole debate about how much is too much has been kept out of the public sphere, kept away from you and me, kept out of democratic debate. In this website, I talk about why it's impossible to define a single dangerous limit for the world. The world's too varied. What people want for their futures is too varied. The vulnerability of different societies and cultures to climate change is too varied for there to ever to be one single agreed dangerous limit for climate change. I talk about how the public have been kept out of the debate, how the media, politicians, various institutions have maintained this idea that dangerous climate change has been defined by scientists, by the climate science, and so there's no need to debate this. There is nothing to debate. The answer has been found. So explore how that's being done. Explore why it is that the public have been kept out of this debate. Who benefits from keeping the public away from the discussion? Who loses? And also explore why it's important that we address this, that we make this debate that involves the public. Because without that, we're going to find it very hard to cope with the changes that are coming, to make sense of them, to respond as a society to the risks that are rapidly coming home to roost. It's a harrowing story. It's a long story. Indeed, it's probably the oldest story of civilization. Who governs who, on what basis, in whose interests?